Hello and welcome everybody to round 5 of 7 of Race Department's V8 Championship. My name is Simon Smith and we're here at Pukekohe Park, or Pukekohe Park, whatever you want to pronounce it as. And here today, courtesy of PSR TV and Race Department. Today we have 36 laps, which is 102 kilometres, the last of our sprint races in this series before we go on to two big endurance type races at Phillip Island and Bathurst. Let's take a quick look at the Pukekohe Park circuit, and there's not too many corners around here, but there's plenty of them to make mistakes on, especially into the turns 2 and 3, the little chicane, where there is a rather nasty evil curb which will quite happily launch you off into the barriers and ruin your day. Apart from that, the best overtaking is down the back straight into the tight right-hander. Let's take a quick look at the championship stand-ins before we continue onwards. Currently Mike Seaon is on 109 points in first position with his little team. Second is Gregory de Grief with 100 points, the Belgian. Then third is James Johnson with 93, followed by Hanu Carasola, Ben Crooks, Ben Butendijk, Gary Lennon, Ryan Callan, who is a series administrator, Eva Simmons and Sylvian Mearlord, who doesn't appear to be here this weekend, or weekday rather, rounding out the top 10. So, everyone grab yourself some snacks and drinks, because this one's going to be a good one, and you're all allowed to have an extra tipple because it's my birthday. So, I won't tell you how many candles are on the cake, but okay, so I would tell you how many candles are on my cake, but you would probably be slightly scared and have to call the fire department. Today I shall be Mr. Cameraman as well as everything else, so apologies if I sound extra confused compared to normal. And we're currently watching our current pole sitter, Gregory de Grief. We are on qualifying. There is still 6.5 minutes left to go. And Gregory de Grief is the man in positional pole position, although it's just been snatched away by 0.04 of a second by this man, Ben Butendijk, with a 1:55.394, and that's a superb time, and just 0.04 of a second separating the pair of them. This is showing that it's going to be an absolute corker of a Grand Prix out there today. Third currently provisionally is Ryan Callan, with fourth place our championship leader Mike Seaon, also out and about. Let's take a quick look at him because he's on a hot lap, although he's not quite on the pace at the moment, and that's very slidey around that corner, waggling around his rear end. There are no ponds for Gary Lennon to get lost in this weekend. However, I have been told that there are horses in this track somewhere, so someone better tell the horse that keeps arriving at my flat underneath me downstairs, and maybe he might actually end up going somewhere else. Mike Seaon then stays in fourth position, but is looking very much on threat indeed. Let's just jump back to Gregory de Grief and see exactly what he's up to, because he's just coming... Ooh, yeah, 2 tenths down already at the second sector. That's not looking like a good result so far for Gregory de Grief. So Ben Butendijk currently is the man on top, with de Grief alongside. Callan third and Seaon 4. James Johnson is currently in fifth position, and there he is, just about to start another lap. Just under 5 minutes left to go. James Johnson then fifth, with Kevin Clark sixth, and you can see just how close all the times are by how they're crossing the line. 2 tenths down from pole and not improving their position. So drama for them. Ben Crooks is 7, Gary Lennon 8, Lee Ross 9, Hanu Carasola currently rounds out the top 10. 20 drivers on track today. Currently the last of them being Michael Hart-Jones, for about 4 seconds off the pace, but the top 17 are the top 18 are covered by 2 seconds. as James Johnson continues round on his lap. So we've given you just a quick go of the Pukekohe Raceway. Here he comes round the jokingly called home straight. He's across the line. What's he going to do? That's not going to improve him. He stays in 5th position, and that be that, I'm afraid, for James for another lap. Let's see what our current provisional pole sitter is up to. Here is Ben Potenzijk in the Jack Daniels Racing 2009 car. Just under 4 minutes now left of qualifying. And I have to say, Australians have much better curbs than what everywhere else has. Nice and colourful. So this is going to be the last of the sprint races here this weekend before we move to Bath. No, we don't. Could fancy it, Bath. But that's very wide there for Ben Potenzijk. Obviously, last of the late breakers not paying off there. But Phillip Island is where we're going to next. There's 34 laps around there, and that's almost half the distance of this track again. So pit stops will probably be more inclined to be taking place there. And then we've got the 200k event at Bathurst, and that will be the massive endurance grand finale. So book out your dates for that one. They take place on the 31st of March and the 14th of April. So I thoroughly enjoy it. That's the curve that I'm talking about. As you watch Potenzijk just go round, you get that wrong, you will be launched quite happily into the barrier on the other side. So not too good for him at all. Let's see who is out on track doing a little lap. This is Kevin Clark, currently in 6th position. Just a 10th down at the end of the sector. Here he comes across the line. Oh, that's onto the grass there for Clark, and that won't help him one little bit. It's a bit too much of an overdrive there for Kevin Clark, and that won't do him any good at all. Hanu Carasola off our screens has just gone off the track as well, so that is not too good as Kevin Clark decides to call that one a day. Let's see who else is out on track. This is Mike Seaon just coming round out of the final corner. Let's see whether he can improve. Ryan Callan's just improved his time slightly into 3rd, and Gregory de Grief has just taken pole position away with a 55.263 and has immediately plopped himself into the pits. He must think that his work here is done, but I think Ben Potenzijk is going to have something to say about that as he comes steaming through that chicane. He's obviously on an outlap, but it doesn't look like it at all the way he's driving that one about. So he's gearing up for a last minute fun fest. So out on track, 3rd place on the grid currently, Ryan Callan. Just under 1.5 minutes left to go in this tight qualifying session. Grief has 0.125 seconds advantage. Callan there a little bit wiggly wobbly coming onto the final corner, to have a better word, and that has cost him plentiful of time, a whole second off the pace. If that was his fastest lap, he wouldn't even be in the top 14, would you believe, because the top 14 are covered by 1 second exactly. So not good there for Callan at all. There's Gary Lennon going very, very wide into that corner. I don't think that will see him get anywhere soon. Michael Hart-Jones has just left the server down in 20th, so obviously connection issues or just had enough and fancies a kebab. There's Lennon crosses over to start a hot lap. Let's see if there's any of our leaders still out and about doing anything. De Grief has decided to stay in the pits. He's had enough. Here's Potenzijk. Let's stick with him. Currently a 10th down. So it's not looking like the improvement that he needs. So he needs to push like hell around these few corners. Out comes a checkered flag. This is his final go at it. It's now or never for Ben Potenzijk. Can he take pole position away? No, he cannot. He stays in 2nd position, a whole 10th of a second behind. Let's see who else is out and about. Ryan Callan is still on a good, decent lap, and after the 1st sector, that would give him 2nd position on the grid. So Ryan Callan definitely in with a shout, not just for 2nd position, but also for pole. So here comes Callan down the back straight. This corner here is the best place for overtaking. I've driven here in the BMW 1 cars and gone 4 wide into that corner, so definitely can be done with these V8s. As Callan continues round into the final corner, hugging the curb, Be careful not to run too wide onto the grass. He's nibbling at the curb there. Stays third position there for Callan. That's unfortunate there, losing it just in the last little bits of the lap. Mike Seaon in full position, our championship leader. Ben Crooks currently 5th. James Johnson is 6th. Kevin Clark is 7th. They've all gone for a pub lunch in the pits. What's going on? Lee Ross, 8th position, not a name that I particularly remember. Gary Lennon, 9. And rounding out the top 10 is Hanu Karasula. So we're going to be moving forward to warm-up now, so we'll just stick with the drivers, etc., just to see what's going on. Just a quick little teeny warm-up so we can get to see everyone going on how their pace is. Just rounding out the rest of the grid, Ivo Simmons was 11th. Mark A. Warmington was 12th. Adam Shaw was 13. Jari Venari 14, and he was the last man on a second off. So 14 drivers within a second. You know it's going to be tight racing around here today. Martin Bolgin was 15. Philip Antonia 16. Guido Rosen 17. Dan Higgins 18. Rich Tranter 19. Michael Hart-Jones was 20th and last. So that is your lot so far. Let's just see who is going out and about on track, just to see what's going on. Let's follow our little Mr. Snail, Michael Hart-Jones, out and about. So a 10-minute warm-up. We've already had half a minute of it as Michael Hart-Jones makes a meal out of that corner. Oh dear, Michael. I put it on you so that you could prove that you don't go lawn mowing on a week-to-week basis, and that's what you go and do. Anyway, so after he's done his quick fly mode promotion, just follow him round just to see exactly what life is like at the blunt end of the grid with the Ford Performance Racing driver. Remember, you can watch this both on psrtv.com and in the forums. There is a chat box there for everyone to have a chinwag with. It should be up by now. So you can all have a good giggle with each other and enjoy yourselves. Here we ride on board with Michael Hart-Jones just to see what happens. Round one, turn one, that's the shell corner. Not particularly daunting, that one, but it's this one here that's the real trouble. And if you hit that curb on the right, you'll be in all kinds of trouble in the wall on the left. Then back out into the home straight, or back straight rather. We're just about to see Mike Seaon come flying through. Who thinks? No, we're not, because Mike Seaon's just crashed out. So this is the best overtaking opportunity. Very difficult because there's different cambers that you can go in. Hart-Jones running very wide out of that, but there's different lines that you can take because the car runs very unstable. Then that corner is slightly banked, so you've got more grip in there than what you actually think there is, and then less grip on this one because it banks to the left slightly. So you've really got to be hard on the accelerator, but still be turning in and chugging away. And that is a lap around Pukekohe. Michael Hart-Jones there just goes top in warm-up, but failing to get under a minute. I don't think he will be particularly impressed with that one. There is Lee Ross, new to us today. So, I've got no horses at my flat today, just in case everyone knows. Plus, I didn't actually make myself a really dodgy meal either, as Lee Ross there going 2 wheels round that corner. So, but I did have a bit of a dodgy meal last night, actually, I have to say. I thought I'd run out of rice for my curry, so I thought I'd try pasta. Doesn't work. I don't recommend it at all. So, note to Simon, buy rice. As Jari Venari just pops up on top of warm-up, let's give him a little shout out. With a 57.1, so Venari showing some good pace here today. So, yes, must buy pasta. However, as an alternate birthday treat to myself, I bought myself some white chocolate covered strawberries, thus being really treatful and getting one of your 5 a day. How good is that? It works in my head anyway. And if everyone's now come out of their comas from the Formula 1 Grand Prix, wasn't that a load of... Oh, it was so disappointing. If I'd taken the F1 Grand Prix to bed, I think I'd have kicked it out before we'd even started anything, because it was that bad. Schumacher's comeback was limper than a lettuce, with little Mr. Nico trashing his backside. Vettel's name of his car, was it Luscious Liz? Maybe if it wasn't so luscious and break down, maybe we should call it Slutty Sandra or something, because of how it likes to blow itself. I'll stop before I get myself into trouble. Broadcasting. Also, just a shameless plug on this Saturday, I shall be commentating iRacing. Excitement. So come along and watch me fail miserably on that one as well. Just coming up to 4 minutes left of warm-up. I'll just take you on a quick run round the order because I've been too busy chatting away with myself. And plus, I'm doing cameras and I'm a bit blonde and it's very confusing and I'm just rubbish. But currently top of the order is Mike Seaon with a 1:55.507. Second currently in the warm-up is Ben Crooks. Hello, Mr. Crooks. I wonder how crooked he'll be down into turn 1. Ivo Simmons currently third, but sitting in the pits. And there's a nice spat going on in the chat box between Michael Hart-Jones and Mike Seaon. And I bet Mike Seaon would actually much prefer to not be involved in that and be busy concentrating on the task at hand, which is called winning a championship. White chocolate, strawberries, nice. Lee Ross is 6. Currently. Mark A. Wilmington, we've not seen him out on track yet so far. Hello, Mark A. Wilmington. Very distinguished to have a middle initial in your name. Currently running 7th. Jolly nice chap he is too. Ninth currently is Martin Bolgin. Be a good inter-teammate battle between him and his teammate Dan Higgins. Actually, again, they like to bitch slap each other at every race. They're very similar in pace, no matter where they seem to go. So always good fun for that. And 7th, because the Bolgin's now gone down to 10, is Philip Antonia. 12, let's just take a quick look. Vito Rosen sitting in the pits, having a boogie. 13th is Michael Hart-Jones just popping back out onto track. Excuse me. And Dan Higgins, I think, is the only other man that's out on track at the moment as we move along for warm-up. Oh! Hello, barrier. Thank you for that, Dan. So, Dan Higgins showing exactly what I mean. And Dan Higgins actually has been moved to the back of the grid because he's, I assume he had a penalty. Yes, he cut the first corner, so naughty Mr. Higgins for that one. But other than that, clean driving all around. Mr. Higgins says no to your 100-metre marker. We shouldn't use the markers to brake. I do that. I sit and look at the brake markers and then get really shocked when they're not there later on, and end up playing all kinds of things. Just as Ryan Callan said earlier to me today, extensive research shows that the tarmac is the best place to be. However, it's all very well having it being the best place to be, but it's easier said than done if you can't actually get there. Michael Hart-Jones is practically the only guy actually out on track at the moment, so enjoy your spot in the limelight, Mr. Hart-Jones. We're just coming down to the last few minutes. Well done everyone, you have survived my boring, random, babbling, rabble rubbish. So Hart-Jones pops in finally under the 1 minute marker, so well done to Hart-Jones there. I honestly don't think there is anyone else. Philip Antonia's out on track. Let's say hello to Philip Antonia, returning to the series after a couple of races away. Oh, and he's popped into the pits anyway, so that's the end of that. So, all it leaves me to do is say the best of luck to everybody. And make this a good one for me, because I'm forfeiting lots of birthday cake and time for myself. I'd like to be rewarded. Mark A. Warmington says he's about to wet himself. That could be a problem. Look out for that down at turn 1 if you roll over that. Extra royal slick.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Hurrah! Okay. So, best of luck to everybody. My name is Simon Smith. You're watching Race Department's V8 series. There you can see the qualifying times just appearing up on your screens right now. Bada bing. Apologies if this broadcast goes a little bit awry, because I am Mr. Cameraman and Mr. Commentator, and I'm an Essex Blonde, and it's not going to work. Here come the lights though. Gregory de Grief is about to go round the Pukekohe circuit. Fantastic start there by de Grief, but Buttendijk is getting along quite well as well. Carisola's off to an amazing start further back down the field, and that is de Grief off onto the grass, and that is not going to work very well at all. Smack into, oh dearie me, and who's that else is off as well? That is disaster there for Ben Buttendijk, who is dropping quickly down the order. And oh dear for Ben Buttendijk, there he is, just recovering now. Disaster there, smacked basically by de Grief, who had already gone wrong somewhere else. And de Grief is now under attack by Mike Seaon. This is key, because these are the two championship protagonists as they come flying down turn, in the back turn there. James Johnson has just gone off, I can see in the background as well, but has just regained and just lost a couple of positions. Here are the top two though, and well, my goodness me. There we go, de Grief, Seaon, Crooks is third, Callan 4, Clark 5, Ross 6, Carisola 7, Lennon 8, Johnson, Simmons, Shaw, Vinari. And they come piling through there. And once again there, Mike Seaon under the attack, or trying to attack Gregory de Grief there. De Grief not really having any of it. And there is somebody in third position, that is Ben Crooks, with Callan right behind as well. Everyone else still kind of filtering through quite nicely. Just about, as there comes Callan on a look on Ben Crooks down into my favourite place, and Crooks is doing the switcheroo. Yeah, the switcheroo. Ben Crooks switcheroo is back through again, and that's good work there by the third place driver. Crooks back past Callan, and Callan's got it all to do again. As here is Gregory de Grief, and that is second place onto the grass. Mark A. Warmington is slipping down the order quite decisively as well, may I just add. There he is. Oh, that's Philip Antonia there actually. So, yeah, Mark A. Warmington has slipped back to 19th. Didn't see really what happened there. He's into the pits. Mark A. Warmington into the pits on lap 2, so that's disaster there for Mark A. Warmington. Gregory de Grief currently leads the way. Second position currently is Mike Seaon. Let's join the battle for third. This is Ryan Callan. He's got back ahead of Ben Crooks, but Ben Crooks is into the slipstream, down into the turn, smacking alongside there. A little bit of a nudge, but Ben Crooks is back into third position. Nothing wrong with a little bit of bodywork contact going on, even if it is a little bit naughty, but he's got the position nonetheless. And fine stuff there by Crooks. But Callan straight back on it again. And here they go. Oh, side by side into that corner. That corner's not designed for side by side. And Callan stays behind. Stays in fourth position. And what's going on behind here? That's Clark. And then behind them, is Lee Ross. And Lee Ross has got Hannu Karisola all over him. Here is Hannu Karisola. And got the outside line. He'll do well to get that round the outside. A little bit more grip. Loris covers the line. Karisola has nowhere to go. And there you can see, sniffing all over Lee Ross's rear. Desperate to find a way through. Don't take the naughty plunge there, Karisola. And wait for the straight. And go for it again. Here comes Hannu Karisola. Oh, and that's Kevin Clark kicking up a bit of dirt up in front, but just able to stay ahead of these two as these two continue to stay side by side. Someone's dropping down the order. It's Evo Simmons, actually. And here we are on board with Hannu Karisola currently at the moment. There you can see the stand-ins on your screen currently at the moment. Lennon is just behind these, and everyone else streaming through quite nicely. Matt, 4 of 36 this is. And there is your race leader, Gregory de Grief. He's not exactly pulling away from everyone though, is he? Because he's got plenty of cars running behind him quite happily indeed. One of which is Mike Seaon running once again there just quickly onto the grass. Let's take a quick jump back to 10th position. This is Evo Simmons as Brian Callan sets a new fastest lap of 55.6. This is Evo Simmons. He's got Adam Shaw and Jari Vinari right behind him, with Philip Antonia just tailing off slightly. But this is a good little battle in the midfield. Everyone else is kind of fielding themselves out a little bit. Evo Simmons just about holding off Adam Shaw currently at the moment. Vido Rosen has just gone off the track. He's now down in 17th position. When I get it right. Oh, panty poos. Oh well, there's Gregory de Grief anyway. Simeon is second, Crooks third, Callan 4. There he is. Vido Rosen, welcome to the show, my friend. Had a bit of an incident, is now all over the back of Rich Tranter. Rich Tranter has made himself up to 16th position. He wasn't on the pace particularly in qualifying or in practice, so this should be a good easy pick-off here for Vido Rosen, who goes very wide coming out of the final corner there and deciding to go for a little bit of orienteering. Rich Tranter, though, is busy harassing the car up in front. And who is that, actually? Can I just take a quick looky poos? It's Dan Higgins. Dan Higgins there being completely overtaken there by Rich Tranter, and is now back to trying to get back through again. Might be a battle only for these 15th and 16th positions, but it's fantastic stuff as they're going to go too wide down the back straight into that final corner, looking rather juicy indeed. Dan Higgins has that position back, and looks as though as Ryan Callan sets another fastest lap. Oh, contact there nearly between a pair of them. James Johnson there doing a fastest lap, so he's starting to come alive as well. But a fantastic battle, albeit for quite a bit down the order. Here is Gregory de Grief. He still has a decent margin over Mike Seaon. Crooks third, Callan 4, Clark 5, Ross 6, Karisola 7, Lennon 8, Johnson 9, who's the fastest man on track, Simmons 10, and the top 9 scuppered by just 7 seconds there, doing a fantastic job. Let me just cut back to the battle for 16 and 17, because they were side by side a second ago. Rich Tranter and He's got Rosen all over the back of him. What can he do? Rosen is pulling out and he's fancying a nose down. He's got him down the straight there. Such is the straight line speed that Rosen has. Tranter thinking that he might go for switcheroo, get in a slipstream, get sucked up and then dive bomb it through. But Rich Tranter, they're very side by side indeed. But Rosen is through into the position. Back up front, here is Gregory de Grief looking rather suave and sophisticated up front. He's keeping the gap at just under a second to Seaon, but Seaon is not letting him go whatsoever. Then third place currently is Ben Crooks, and he's still got Ryan Callan right behind. And Callan there just taking a little nose. Oh, more than a little nose, and that is whammy poos, and Callan is through. That came from out of nowhere. That did. And that is great stuff indeed, as Vido Rosen and Rich Tranter. Rosen spun it, Tranter there just went straight into the back of it, and that is a shame there for Rosen, who has now dropped back into the path of Mark A. Wilmington, who has already done Michael Hart-Jones already. Here is Ryan Callan then back at third position. Sorry for jumping back and forth, but it's far too exciting. And Ben Crooks is still hogging Ryan Callan's rear. I've just got to be careful that they don't do what they've done last time by and practically mount each other, because that would be something for only after 9 o'clock. Oh, we are after 9 o'clock. Fine, mount each other, guys. Free for all, for everyone. But Callan there is covered for this time by, but I don't think that we've seen quite the last of Crooks just yet. Just on a quick look back, actually, to 17th position. That's Rich Tranter and Mark A. Wilmington. And Mark Wilmington there, very sneaky sly getting through. A little bit ragged on the coming out the other side on lap 10 of 36. But Mark A. Wilmington making light work of Rich Tranter and looks as though he can hold it again. Mark Wilmington actually has got his lights on, so that's a bit naughty. But he's got the position. Well done there to Mark A. Wilmington. There you are, my friend. So, here is the battle for 8th position, which is the closest one on track. It's Hanu Carasola versus James Johnson. Carasola going very defensive there, and actually letting James Johnson... Was that him letting James Johnson through? Yes, he did. That looked suspiciously like a let through. I wonder if Carasola took the position actually with out kind of James Johnson knowing. Johnson did have the fastest lap for a little while, as they run a bit too much onto the grass there for Johnson, and he will do well to come out of that one unscathed indeed. But Johnson has still got Carasola looking quite nifty all over him. The other battle out on track is Vinari and Shaw over 11 and 12. We'll stick with this one just for the time being, because it's looking rather magical. There are your fastest laps currently. Callan, Johnson, Clark and de Grief for your top 4. So those are the ones that are looking rather magical at the moment. Ooh, that's someone locking up right in front of James Johnson. That's Gary Lennon. Barely seen anything of him. And that is Jari Vinari, and he's just dispensed of Adam Shaw for 11th and 12th positions. So Shaw was hogging all out, was practically being pulled along by a piece of string behind Jari Vinari, but Vinari's managed to pull out. His next target is Ivo Simmons, so that's a good little battle going on. Up front though, Gregory de Grief has now pulled out a 2-second advantage and is already coming up to lap traffic already on lap 12 of 36. We've lost Michael Hart-Jones with an accident, and it's Rich Tranter who is actually the first man that's going to be lapped. Didn't see Michael Hart-Jones retiring, but obviously he was overdoing and overexerting himself, staying under the 1 minute mark. So consequently, hello my barrier, my friend, for Michael Hart-Jones, and that be the end of that one. Tranter then goes a lap down. De Grief there got it very much covered. Let's just take a quick run through of the order. Second position, just about to lap Tranter, is Mike Seaon. And this very key, because de Grief is going to be taking points off of Seaon in the championship battle. That is everything, as someone is dropping down the order. It's Lee Ross. I think. Where did Lee Ross go? There's Philip Antonia. Oh, look at Lee Ross. That car is looking a little bit worse for wear. As there you can see, where has his front bumper gone? It's all going on summer holiday. Obviously, Lee Ross has got acquainted with either someone or something, and something is telling me the way how he takes that curb, that it's something to do with that curb. So Lee Ross there, that's a shame. He was running quite happily in the top 10, but obviously not anymore. That's Hannu Karasola, and there's been a change of position right down the back. Is it Ben Butendijk actually? It's Ben Butendijk coming up the order by the looks of it. There he is now into 17th position. He's just passed Mark A. Wilmington. So apologies that I just missed that, but it just flashed up on my screen. But just call me Simon Octopussy. Okay, so here's James Johnson then. Let's take a look at him. Currently running in 7th position, and he has got Kevin Clark, I believe, all over the back of him. Oh, it's Gary Lennon, and there we go, through down the back straight there, and Johnson on Lennon, side by side into the corner. Lennon very, very last of the late breakers, holds the position from James Johnson. Fantastic defensive driving there by Gary Lennon, and Lennon just about holding on to the position for now. And there you can see. Oh! And Lennon there very, very sideways coming out of that corner, and Johnson is through into 6th position. So if that now lets him free, Gary Lennon desperately trying to hold on to the back actually of Lennon, it has to be said. And here we are on board with Gary Lennon. What can he do down into the corner? Looks a little bit too far back for my liking, but he's fancying a go. He's definitely fancying a go. Lennon desperately tries to dive through there. Johnson straight onto the switcheroo. What can they do? Side by side almost coming out of that corner. Lap 15 of 36. I can hear someone crashing somewhere, but we'll get back to that in a second. Oh, I can see who that is actually. What these two battling like pros, and well, side by side again round the shell corner. These two absolutely fantastic driving. They can't hold it through this corner. Surely Gary Lennon just about holds off the position from Johnson, but Johnson straight onto the attack for another look round into the next corner. James Johnson and Gary Lennon showing exactly what type of racing drivers we have in this V8 series, and Johnson's going to go for the outside. Lennon goes defensive, and these two are going to be battling long and hard, I can tell. Oh no! And Johnson, they're way off. Way off. Too late, my friend, and a spin as well. Hannu Karasola's gone through. Johnson's on the track just before Ivo Simmons can get past. What a shame there for James Johnson. This looks like a repeat. Remember, we had this earlier on in the year. James Johnson, plenty of speed, and then a couple of silly errors trying to overtake people with moves that weren't necessarily there, and it's popped him right back down the order again. What a shame there for James Johnson. Gregory DeGrief currently leading the way from Mike Seaon. The gap now down to 1.4 seconds. And there is our race leader, Gregory DeGrief. Second position currently is Mike Seaon. Third position is Ben Crooks, and that looks like suspiciously like Ryan Callan having a go. Oh, bish bash bosh. Callan and Crooks side by side round the third sector now, and these two, they're a little bit more argy-bargy than a few of the other men, but they're still both pointing in the right direction, and that's all that really counts. Callan and Crooks again there. Callan has got the position through just at the moment for now. Lee Ross has just moved into 13th position past Dan Higgins. Oh, Philip Antonia is off the track, but let me just because they're not going to be doing anything particularly around there, mister. And it's, yeah, Philip Antonia is playing mow the grass. There he is. Teammate car actually to Ryan Callan, but Antonia is now back on the road again. Let's see what's going on versus Callan and Crooks down into the corner. Crooks looking deceptively close. And, down the outside. That's a brave move. And, toucheroo there for Callan. And there is Ben Crooks now down in 5th. Well, it's showing 7th position now. So, did Ben Crooks go off? Methinks he might have done. Yes. Maybe he has, maybe he has not. When my beautiful computer decides to actually work for me, I'll be able to tell you. But at the moment, it's Kevin Clark that we're looking at the screens of. But we shall soon get that rectified in a second, poos. Here's your racing order, yeah. Ben Crooks then down into 7th position. Callan kept the place, and that's not good at all. Still 19 cars running, top 15 are unlapped. Ben pretends like desperately trying to do a recovery drive at the moment. But Ben Crooks there, now 16 seconds off the leader. Still 1.2 seconds between our top lot. And there is Ben Crooks. I would not satisfy myself until I actually got him on screen. There he's on screen. There's bugger all going on. Let's go somewhere else, shall we? Who else is having a good old ding-dong out there? Everyone's pretty much separated, actually, at the moment. So it is actually Gary Lennon and Kevin Clark who are the closest to on the track currently at the moment, as far as I can see. Oh, I tell a lie. Battle over the wooden spoon, everybody. It's Rich Tranter versus Vito Rosen coming down the home straight. Rosen is obviously the quicker driver, but Rosen's been doing more Mornlowing than everyone else. Tranter going defensive into the corner and looking rather snidey at it as well. Rosen keeping very close and precision-like. Lap 16 of lap 20 of 36. 16 to go. Gregory de Grief sets a new fastest lap. That's about time that he pulled that one out. And Vito Rosen then coming into the slipstream. Needs a little bit of suction. Do his best Dyson impression, then pull out and dive through into the corner. But he's not doing it that time by. Rich Tranter definitely holding his own in this battle currently at the moment. Maybe the battle over 18th and 19th positions, but these means points at the end of the day. And because it only takes a few more people to retire, and suddenly that position will be worth a lot more. Tranter running very wide. Oh! Wiggly wobbly there for Tranter, and Vito Rosen looking like he's just about to take a dive through. Tranter once again covers the line. Fantastic driving for these two, albeit for last. This is our closest battle out on track, so we're going to stick with it. But Rosen and Tranter, they're looking very, very much like a battle that's going to be going on for a little bit of while, although Rosen's much closer this time by. Into the slipstream, do a Dyson and then pull out and go through much quicker down the line. Oh, little love nudge, but that's a little bit too soon for a love nudge actually, down into the corner, and therefore Rosen has completely ruined his chance basically, able to kind of take into that corner. That corner is by far the best opportunity to do any kind of overtaking whatsoever. So as those two continue on their feisty, battle-y way, let's see who else is going on. Ryan Callan is off the track. Is he? He's off the track somewhere. There he is. He's back going again now, roughly, or is he not? Oh, it's lag. Filthy lag. How dare we? Nearly had a heart attack. Let me go back to the battle for 18th and 19th then, while we're doing that. And there we are. This is Vito Rosen, passing Rich Tranter. He's got to make sure that he... Oh, Tranter breaks it late. He's going to try and keep him round the outside. That's a great move there by Tranter. He might be a couple of seconds further back on the pace, but if you can drive defensively and aggressively like that, you will hold as many cows behind you as until the milk mode comes, basically. Fantastic driving there by Rich Tranter. Aggressive driving, but keeping it on the track in the right direction. So good stuff for those two as they continue on. here is Kevin Clark showing in third position. I will not believe it until I see that Ryan Callan has actually passed the window behind. It's true! When did that happen? Oh well, never mind. So Kevin Clark moves up into third position. He's a driver who's really came of age in the last couple of races. He's only down in 14th in the championship standings actually, but he's kind of had all the bad luck under the sun. But he drives kind of stealth races where he's not particularly involved in anything much, but he's always there to collect points at the end of it, providing that he's still on track and going well. So Kevin Clark looking like he's up for another good points haul and perhaps his first podium actually of the series. Ryan Callan now has fallen down to fourth. Gap between the leaders is 1.7 seconds with 11 laps to go. So that has been stagnant all race long. You can see De Grief currently holds the fastest lap standings. Clark fifth in the standings. Callan second in the fastest lap standings there. And as we look down, quite interesting there, Gary Lennon is only 9th on the standings, yet is 5th overall on the track. So he's obviously going by and watching the horses on the track as we continue on our way. And there is your order currently at the moment. Let's take a quick look at the battle for 7th and 8th then, because that looks like it could be potentially hittity hot between Ben Crooks and James Johnson, two of the faster men on the track. Both have made mistakes and both have dropped down the order. Ben Budendijk is now up to 14th position. He's passed Dan Higgins. Philip Antonio of course went off the track and that's why he's down in 17th. So it's been a quite slow recovery drive by Budendijk. He has been lapped. Next up for him is Lee Ross actually. A few seconds further up the field. So let's have a quick nose at Budendijk because I'm sure he'll be not very impressed with that lap 1 turn 2 shenanigans that went on. Mike Seaon there off onto the grass and all kinds of trouble there. Budendijk getting nicely out of the way for the man who effectively may well have caused him to go off in that chicane while leading the Grand Prix. So unfortunate stuff there for Budendijk indeed. So let's take a look at third place. That is Kevin Clark. A fantastic effort by him so far, providing it stays on the black stuff. But these lot have dropped quite. I mean, Gregory De Grief and Mike Seaon are really in a class of their own. Completely forgetting that they're still out there running, basically, because they're that far ahead of everyone else. Just 2 seconds separating the pair of them as they put a lap on some of the back markers. And they're doing very well. Ooh, someone's off into the wall there. I can't work out who that was. It's not something I'd recommend, I can tell you that. I'll find out and see who that was actually. I've got a funny feeling it was Rich Tranter actually. Oh no, it's Vido Rosen in 18th position after all that hard work overtaking everybody. He's now plodding around very slowly with no front bumper. He went off down at turn 5 at the end of the back straight there, so that's unfortunate stuff there by Rosen. Still only the one retirement, Michael Hart-James. So everyone generally keeping themselves together. On track and on the tarmac, which is generally good. But the battle for 7th and 8th is really the best one on track, and here it is as they just pop a lap on Vido Rosen, and that is Ben Crooks and James Johnson. Ooh, down into the hairpin at the bottom there. Crooks just about staying defensive from James Johnson. So come up the back, so very easy to I mean, they've just both done it there. Putting the two wheels on the grass just doesn't work. Tarmac is better than grass. Grass is better than gravel. Gravel is better than barrier. But Ben Crooks and barrier is better than spectator stand, actually, if we really wanted to go that far. But these two continuing on. Vito Rosen's popped into the pits for some repairs off your screen while this is going on. But this is James Johnson. Whoa! Well, that was an interesting go at things. There for Ben Crooks. Where did he go? That's bizarre. Oh, he's off again. Oh, smack! What the hell was that? Bizarre! Well, if you're going to go out, you might as well go out in style, but that is not what James Johnson wanted. And there is James Johnson in the barrier thinking, what on earth did I do to deserve that? Can he get going again? Does the car... Oh, it's vaguely looking for R Factor, and what a lovely tyre barrier that is. He is reversing back out again, but that was a bizarre moment there. Maybe there was some kind of controller lock-up or something there for Ben Crooks, but they were having a good ding-dong of a battle before that happened. But James Johnson sliding down the order. Now it's 13th position, and it's just another race where it's all gone terribly, terribly wrong for James Johnson. Just a quick shout out to Adam Shaw, who has now moved up into 9th position as a result of that conflict in battle. He's had a great weekend so far. Not weekend, weekday, week evening, one of those so far. He's still got... no, he's not got anyone for close company, actually. That's someone coming round behind, actually. But Adam Shaw there doing a fantastic job in 9th position. I'm sure he'll be absolutely delighted with that. And James Johnson then into the pits from 15th position. And there he is, just leaving it again. 15-second stop. Not what James Johnson wants. And he has just rejoined in 16th position. Philip Antoni has just gone through. Still got Tranter and Rosen behind. But it's just not what he wanted, and Philip Antoni is going to be off and up the road for that. So 4 laps to go then, as we watch Gregory de Grief, our current race leader, and this is going to close up the championship battle no end. Gregory de Grief and Mike Seaon are the two men to beat in terms of points in the championship and pace out on track. Just 4 laps to go, and these two have the gap is now at 3 seconds, which is the biggest it's been all race. However, they have got 15 seconds over third placed Kevin Clark. Let's take a look at Kevin Clark for another good weekend out for him. 4th place currently is Ryan Callan, still trying to... I don't know what happened. He must have gone off the track somewhere. As James Johnson is back in the pits again, so his car is quite firmly screwed. 5th place then is Gary Lennon. Once again, another quiet but effective race for him. However, he can't afford to relax, because behind him is Hanu Carasola. There he is, looking rather nifty indeed. So he come down the home straight just with 3 to go. Rosen and Johnson both in the pits again for another time by. And Ben Crooks has left the server, so obviously very disgruntled for him. 7th then currently is Ivo Simmons. Once again, another man. We saw him battling earlier on, but he's kept himself just about clear of Jari Vinari. And Vinari, once again, another very clean and precision-driven race by the Scandinavian driver. And he looks like he's going to have a haul of points by the end of this race that will boost him right up the order. 9th currently is Adam Shaw. Good shout out to him. 10th place at the moment is Martin Bolgin, and he'll be delighted with that if he can keep that one up. However, that is Ben Butendijk right behind for 11, and Butendijk is a race-winning contender. So let's see what Butendijk can do. I think he's a little bit too far back to have a go really down into this corner, but I wouldn't put him past him to at least put out and have a little peek. Yeah, that's a definite peek. But Bulgin there a little bit, well, he's slow around the corner, but he was okay on acceleration. Butendyk straight in to have a good old nosy pose. Just to round off the field, Lee Ross is 12 down, Higgins 13. And this is Butendyk straight onto the back. They're both about to be lapped actually. Bulgin goes defensive. Butendyk goes round the outside. And that will be a brave move down into the chicane if that can happen. Bulgin can't keep it up. Butendyk diving through for the position. Great stuff there by Ben Butendyk and respectful driving there by Bulgin. So just to round off the order, Mark Warmington is 14. Philip Antonio is 15. James Johnson 16. 17 is Rich Tranter and 18 Vido Rosen. But here, it's your leader. It's very soon about to be your race winner. Lights to flag for Gregory de Grief. What an absolutely stunning drive. Gregory de Grief says, how's that, Mike Seaon? And he wins the race at Pukekohe Raceway for round 5 of Race Department's V8 series. And that was a class drive there by Gregory de Grief. At no point feeling, ooh, was that Mike Seaon saying, I'll get you next time, mate? Because those two are really the two now to be beat in the stand-ins altogether. And a little bit of love making down in the barriers there. I think we'll turn away from that. That's Grevin Clark there. First podium in the V8 series. He'll be absolutely delighted with that, I am sure. Now you can see Carasola, Lennon, Callan down to 6. What happened to him on the last lap? There, Simmons 7, Venari, Shaw, Butendyk, Bulgin, Ross, Dan Higgins 13, Mark A. Warmington 14, Philip Antonio 15, 2 laps down James Johnson, 17th was Tranter, 18 Vido Rosen, 19 and retired was Ben Crooks of suspension failure. Also crashing out only on lap 5 of 36 was Michael Hart-Jones. So, there we go. Whew. These guys certainly know how to battle around these tracks. Fantastic action once again by the V8 boys. And well done to Gregory de Grief for a fantastic drive, a fantastic win. And that will no doubt close him up on the championship. Now the gap between the pair of them was 9 points beforehand. Now qualifying, de Grief got pole, so gets a point. He won the race and gets a point. And second place, sorry, doesn't get a point, just gets the 1 point for winning. How harsh would that be? He gets 50 for winning. Oh, you're generous. Second place, he gets 40. Oh, not so generous. And that means, bada bing, Gregory de Grief yoinks the lead from Mike Seaon by 2. I repeat, 2 of championship points. And I can see that being contested in a report afterwards. But let's leave politics aside and just congratulate Gregory de Grief on what was a rather spangly drive, even if his turn 1 off-track antics were a little bit to be desired. And that then means that 31st of March at Phillip Island, 34 laps of on-track high-speed action will be all the more interesting if there is just 2 points separating the top 2 in the championship. They're really the only 2 left in it, to be fair, unless they both crash out, in which case James Johnson and Haranu Carasola definitely pop themselves in. Probably Carasola almost more than Johnson, because Carasola is the one that consistently racks up points. James Johnson didn't get many today. So Carasola will move up to 3rd overall in the championship. They're really probably your best bets. So, doesn't look like anyone's going to be joining us in the commentary booth today. I hope that wasn't too painful for everyone to watch while I kind of confused and dazed myself whilst being Mr. Cameraman and Mr. Commentator. However, that is the end of today's round of Pukekohe, Poke Me a Curry Park. And I look forward to seeing you on the 31st of March for Phillip Island and the 14th of April for Bathurst. My name's Simon Smith. Take care of yourselves and enjoy spring as best fashion and each other.